First question is about the budget and taxes, and it's going to be for Frank. Frank, are you ready? Give us your assessment of the budget process and what would you have done differently?
Thank you for the question. As a governor, what I would have done was probably veto it. Or I would have sat down with my state representatives and state senators and said, hey, let's get this straight. You cannot do what you want to do. We don't need, I'll stand up. We don't need all these new fees and taxes. There were 60 of them. And for $100 a year, myself and other state representatives, and those of us in the Republican Party voted against House Bill 1 and 2 years ago, House Bill 1 and 2 this term. That's what devastated the state of New Hampshire. Not Bush, not Obama. That's what did the state. What I would have done, and if I'm elected, what I would do is this. Give me a state Senate and the U.S. and the State House of Representatives that are going to do your wishes and not what they think they want to do once they get elected. That's the wrong message, and that's what's been going on for too long. And the first thing I would do is sit down with a group of people, like a former governor did, and go through that budget and see what we need. Some people will say we need to cut. Well, we cut 250 state jobs, 75 were corrections officers. Our prison system is overfilled. All we need is one break, and who's going to get in trouble? The corrections officers. The other issue is we have 1,000 vacant jobs in the state of New Hampshire. So the question is, where are you going to cut? It's in the programs and procedures that we don't need, and we don't need to take programs that are going to say, hire this person for a year or two, and then the state has to pay for them for the time after that. That's where I would start.
Thank you, Frank. And the next candidate, and candidates, I'll remind you, if you need me to repeat the question, I'll be glad to do that. Just let me know. And the next candidate, Jack Kimball, same question to you.
Well, basically, what you have to do, especially if you're a leader and a CEO, which is what the governor really is you instruct your department heads to go back 2 to 4 years and take a look at the actual revenue stream that came in. You don't go ahead and project what you want for programs in advance and have the wish list out there, add it all up and find out you have a big hole. What you have to do is go back, look at the finite revenue, realize that you're in a recession, and then instruct all the department heads to cut. All right, 10 to 12% would have been what I requested. And by the way, factually, the Republican Party did ask for that very thing, a 10 to 12% cut in the budget prior to this one. Instead, they wound up with a 10% increase in spending this year and a 17.5% increase in the last budget, 25 to 26% increase over the last 2 budgetary periods. Pure insanity. They're talking about a $300 million deficit. Folks, it's $800 million. They took $500 million of stimulus money. They used it to fund ongoing operations, and that money's not coming back next year. So you have an $800 million deficit. They should have been far more conservative. The word cut is not something that they certainly understand. It's something I understand, and that's exactly what I will do, given that opportunity in the corner office. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. The next candidate is John Stephen, and same question to you, sir.
Okay, Jeff. Well, first, let's step back when the budget began in this biennium. First, I would say in November to department heads, do not follow only the maintenance law, which requires budgets to be wishless. Give me budgets that also and alternatively have a 10% reduction. That will create innovation. It will get the state employees to be thinking about finding cuts in areas that don't impact direct services as much as you people think. We can make this happen. We can reduce spending at the beginning of the year when the budget starts. You need to start at a very fiscally conservative way. Also, and really important, is to make sure that we do not have exaggerated revenue estimates. The exaggerated revenue estimates are what created this budget problem this particular year in the past few weeks. We should have come out with reasonable revenue estimates. We would have had a reduction budget. We would have been preparing for the future like we have in other states. I just finished being a consultant working on behalf of 3 governors in the last 2 years, seeing states across this country cut spending except New Hampshire. This is wrong. This is not the New Hampshire advantage. It's not the New Hampshire way. I would begin immediately to start looking at our innovative ideas that are already on the table, that have come through years of re-engineering and reforming state government. Why does every department have HR? Why does every department have finance offices? Why does every department continue to have big IT costs? And why does every department have attorneys? There are so many things that you can do, and those issues are with the people of this great state. And the final thing I would do in the beginning of the process is have a true and open, honest budget that is out there available to the people of this great state. I want them to give the ideas to the governor, and we will make it happen.
Thank you, John. Next candidate is Karen Testerman. Same question to you.
Would you repeat the question?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Give us your assessment of the budget process and what would you have done differently if governor?
First of all, it is the governor's responsibility to present to the legislature a balanced budget. I would have been prepared and I would have presented a budget that was based on what revenue was coming in. I would also have worked with my team to have gone back to what is the original intent of our government, of our legislature and our governor, and what government. I'm sorry. And what would we what have we added over the years to the process that is growing our budget to the point where it is? Then I would go in and I would be doing some specific assessment. Are they being effective? Are they being efficient? And are they constitutional? If they are not, then we would need to start cutting in those areas. That's what I would do. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Karen.